Call this May the 1st meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission to order and ask that you all stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Summer, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Benberry, Commissioner Griffin,
Here.
Commissioner Kaler,
Here.
Commissioner Morrison,
Here.
Commissioner Pollard,
Here.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Here.
Chairman Wade.
Here. Thank you. Our first item of business is our elected Vice Chair, Lorraine Schramke, has chosen to vacate her long-standing position here on the Planning Commission. Therefore, we are in need of a new Vice Chairperson. So I'd like to open the floor for nominations for the position of Vice Chair.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Morrison, please.
Thank you. Okay.
We need a second.
Second.
Okay. Any other nominations? Hearing none, is there a motion to close the nominations
So moved.
and to close the nominations and to accept Commissioner Morrison's vice chairmanship by acclamation?
So moved.
All right. Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. Mr. Summers, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Griffin, Commissioner Kaler,
Aye.
Commissioner Morrison,
Aye.
Commissioner Pollard, Commissioner Rhodes, Chairman Wade.
Aye. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Unexpected.
All right. The approval of minutes. Mr. Rhodes, Commissioner Rhodes, I believe you have that motion.
I do. I move that the reading of the minutes for April 3rd, 2023 be waived and that the minutes of said meeting, as prepared by staff, be approved as written.
Second.
All right. Hopefully everyone's had time to read over the minutes, voluminous as they are. We've had a busy time. Any corrections, deletions, additions to said minutes?
I just have one question, just want to verify, we've got one statement in here, just want to make sure land use was commercial.
For which part?
Let's see, this was on the last page from Mr. Hutchinson's, I looked, asked what the designation of the future land use map was. Mr. Summers stated it was commercial.
Yes, on the future land use map.
Okay.
Okay, so that's, the minutes are as
correct,
written are
yes.
correct? Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, additions, deletions? Hearing none, Mr. Summers, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner Griffin,
Aye.
Commissioner Morrison,
Aye.
Commissioner Pollard,
Aye.
Chairman Wade.
Aye. All right. We have no URCDA petitions. I do not believe we have any Planning Commission's continued petitions. Therefore, we'll move into the new petitions, and we will start off with 252 Locust Avenue. We'll hear the staff report, and then we'll hear a motion to introduce what is in front of us, and then we'll open a public hearing for that. So, Mr. Summers?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a public hearing to initially zone 1.4 acres, the M1 Light Industrial Zone at 252 Locust Avenue. It is in the middle of being annexed into the City of Paducah. Whenever property is annexed, it's unzoned, and the Planning Commission or Board of Commissioners has the duty to zone the property within 60 days. The total lot is 84,079 square feet, of which 63,162 is being annexed by the city, which includes part of Coleman Road. The petitioner would like the M1 Light Industrial Zone, which is just to the south of this parcel, so there would not be a spot zone. created if it was to go to a different type of zoning. The petitioner envisioned some kind of service to go on this lot that would be for both the industrial uses and for the future apartments to the north. Something like maybe a convenience store, something to that effect, which the M1 zone would accommodate. The findings of fact that staff is presenting is it's urban in character, and both zoning in the city and county are industrial adjacent to the site. The M1 zone would provide commercial developments as a principal use, which is envisioned by the petitioner. The M1 zone is located directly south of the site, so it's a continuation, and no other city zoning designation touches the site except for the M1. So we are forwarding a favorable recommendation for the M1 zone for this parcel. And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to turn it back over to you and answer any questions that you all may have.
Does anyone have any questions of Mr. Summers? Hearing none, Commissioner Griffin, I believe you have the motion
I
on
move
this item.
that this commission adopt a resolution recommending the light industrial zone classification for a portion of property located at 252 Locust Avenue. I further move this commission adopt the following findings of fact in support of said recommendation. 1, the parcel is urban in character. 2, industrial zoning in both the city and McCracken County is located adjacent to the site. The M1 zone, 3, the M1 zone would provide commercial development as a principal use, which is envisioned by the petitioner. 4, the M1 zone is located directly south of the site, therefore the site would be a continuation of the zone. 5, since no other city zoning designation touches this property, an initial zone of M1 would not create a spot zone.
Second.
Moved and seconded. We will now go into a public hearing to accept any citizens' input. I would ask that anyone speaking positively or negatively come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and make comments. Does anyone have a comment? Okay, hearing none, I'll close the public hearing on this item. And any discussion among the commission?
Light industrial zone, just for the benefit of all, what other items could go in there?
It's everything residential, single-family, two-family, multifamily, everything commercial, retail, restaurant, bank, and light industrial includes manufacturing or processing where noise, odor, dust, glare, any obnoxious uses doesn't extend beyond the confines of the property line.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, Mr. Summers, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Griffin?
Aye.
Commissioner Kaler?
Aye.
Commissioner Morrison?
Aye.
Commissioner Pollard?
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes?
Aye.
Chairman Wade?
Aye. Our next item of business pertains to 3750 Pecan Drive and 600 and 601 Deer Lake Place. And staff, would you like to open us with your comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today, Nick and I, Mr. Hutchison, the planning director, and I met with the petitioners on this particular plat. This is meant to replace the preliminary development plat that the commission adopted at the last meeting that had approximately 122 lots. This particular plat is 12 residential lots with Colonial Drive to be turned into a cul-de-sac. Lot 8 is proposed to be along the south property line with an ingress-egress to Hill Terrace. And staff did have a few comments, including the numbering of the lots from Tract 1 to Tract 13. There is a misnomer on the plat that Tract A is not commercial, it is indeed stormwater. There was some discussion today that Tract A may not be needed fully or entirely for stormwater, so that could become a residential lot. We did discuss the ingress egress to Lot 8, and we believe that a solution to that is for part of the area between Lots 7 and 9 to be an ingress egress easement, with the extension of Lot 8 down to that ingress egress easement. The property line between Lot 4B and 5 is proposed to be moved further to the east to coincide with the sewer easement. That way, there's more buildable lot area on both those lots. The next step would be to close Deer Lick Place and the northern portion of Colonial Drive and establish part of the cul-de-sac that's proposed for Colonial Drive. And then thereafter, the final plat would come before this body for adoption. And the petitioners are here, and the petitioner's professional representative is here to answer any other questions that you all may have.
All right. Any questions of staff from the commission? All right. Yes, now is the time to read that. Please do.
Yes. I move that the preliminary plat approval given on February 6, 2023 for case number APP 2023-0003 be rescinded for a new preliminary plat to take precedence. I further move that the planned unit development also adopted on February 6, 2023 for case APP 2023-003 be rescinded, as well as all proposed lots on the new preliminary plat meet the requirements of the R1 low-density residential zone. I further move that the preliminary subdivision plat for 3750 Pecan Drive and 600 and 601 Deer Lick Place be approved, and that the matter be continued generally pending submission of a final plat incorporating all requirements made known to the petitioner at the conclusion of the hearing.
Second.
Moved and seconded. We will now open a public hearing for anyone to speak. Once again, I would ask that you come to the podium, identify your name and address, and then make your comments known. Just to be clear, once this is concluded, the motion is to continue this generally. If that motion were to be approved, we would then pass it back to the appropriate citizen or city departments to finalize the plat, which would end up coming before us at that particular time. So, public hearing is open. Would ask anyone who wants to speak to come to the podium. All right, I'm not hearing anyone. Last call. All right.
My name is Michael Henderson, and my mom lives on Hillcrest, or Hill Terrace rather. But anyway, just looking at this preliminary proposal, I wondered one thing about the, of course, that's all woods. Is there going to be a line of trees left along Hill Terrace? Is that part of the proposal? Are any driveways going to enter onto Hill Terrace, or is everything going to come in off Colonial? I know it's not finalized. But.
You want me to?
Josh, do you want to comment on that or defer to Mr. Goins?
That would be Jason.
All right,
Mr.
he's going to
Goins.
defer to Mr. Goins, so please come forward and address the best you can.
Yeah. Yeah, we were just looking at the access.
Yeah, I'm Jason Goins with SiteWorks. I'm the engineer helping the developer with the project. So the intent would be for the driveways on Hill Terrace to be limited. Not every single lot will have one. They kind of want the intent to be more of a private type development. Lots 10 and 11 will have their own individual drives. Lots 7, 8, and 9 will share one drive.
Okay.
Lots 5 and 6 will more than likely have access off Colonial Drive. which would leave the lots down in the lower, that they would probably come off of Lindbergh Court more than likely.
More than likely, right there.
Yeah.
So probably right here is all that's going to be on Hill Terrace.
That's correct.
Okay. I couldn't tell if there was a proposal for another little road breaking off of this cul-de-sac there.
Well, we have an easement in place now that would allow Lot 6 to be served from the backside off of Colonial Drive.
Okay,
So as far as any clearing that you asked
but
about.
nothing back here, though.
No, sir.
Yeah.
And any clearing you were referencing, I mean, it would be minimal in comparison to the prior
Yeah.
proposal where it would just be cleared for homes,
Oh, yeah,
driveways,
right.
utilities, things like
Yeah.
that.
So these lot owners could, if they elected, they can clear all the trees out. It just,
Well, they
probably
could,
not
but I don't think
likely.
anybody's gonna want to.
I don't think so either. I
Right,
just,
right.
No, we will have restrictions, subdivision restrictions
okay.
about.
Could you
trees.
approach the microphone so your comments are captured?
Oh, I'm sorry.
And identify yourself, please.
My name is Burnham Jones. I live at 5775 Blandville Road.
Okay.
The reason that we intervened and bought this property is to save as many trees as we can.
Awesome.
And we will have restrictions on how many trees can be
Yeah.
removed, and
Yeah.
certain size trees will not be able to be removed.
Certainly.
So-
Okay. And we'll have access off of Hill Terrace down here and maybe down
Well,
here. but- yeah.
most of the access on Hill Terrace will be west of Berry Court.
Yeah, gotcha.
In fact, it might be west of, or Deer Lick and west.
Okay. And we are gonna, and there is gonna be a containment pond probably. in
There is
this
a
tract.
containment pond in this track,
Okay,
and
I
then
wondered
we
about that.
probably will have a containment pond next to Clayton House, across the street from Clayton House.
Oh,
probably,
okay, I got you.
To reduce the drainage that, on the cross drain.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, good, you answered my question. That's-
Okay.
I think everybody's excited about this.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Mr. Jones? Go right
If
ahead.
the commission has any other
okay.
questions for me, I'd be happy to try to answer them, or Jason.
I would just like to say that I'm glad to hear that the proposal will save as many trees as possible, because there are some lovely dogwood trees in that wooded area. So I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
The largest dogwood tree that any of us have ever seen is on this property. It is huge, and there's some oak trees that have to date back almost to the founding of Paducah on that property. So it's a beautiful piece of property.
All right, any other comments? Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll declare the public hearing closed. For the Planning Commission, from the Planning Commission, any other comments, questions? Hearing none, Mr. Summers, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Morrison,
Aye.
Commissioner Pollard,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner Griffin, Commissioner Kaler,
Aye.
Chairman Wade.
Aye. All right. Commissioner Pollard, I believe you have, well, first, the staff is going to comment on that before you read your motion. 100 Vermont Street.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This has actually been requested to be tabled tonight. There is still some engineering work, I believe, from Mr. Goins that needs to happen on Vermont Street. So we are waiting for that to happen before we move forward with the closure for Vermont. And Mr. Goins, if you'd like to add to that, please.
Let's have our motion first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
I move that this commission open the public hearing for case number VAC 2023-0003 pertaining to a right-of-way closure between 100 Vermont Street and 125 Ridgeview Street. I further move that this item be tabled generally pending approval of the necessary requirements being satisfactory to pertinent city departments.
Second.
Moved and seconded. We will open a public hearing, even though we're going to table this almost immediately, I believe. But anyone have any comments, please approach the podium. No, should have been 3.
Okay, I read 3. I did not.
Okay. Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Ask Mr. Summers the case number for this. There's some confusion between the agenda and the motions. I believe it to be 3. Well, no, excuse me, I believe it to be 2.
It should be 3.
Then what was number, the one I had was 3 also.
Yes, number 2 was that portion of Monroe Street behind the Quilt Museum.
Yeah.
So this one should be 3.
Number 2 was the vacation on the farmer's market parking lot.
Okay. Plat, variance, but they have the very same. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Commissioner Morrison, does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
We tied our brains into a knot. All right.
Yeah, variance,
Any other
variance,
questions of this
Thank you.
variance? I've closed the public hearing. Hearing no questions, Mr. Summers, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Pollard,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner Griffin,
Aye.
Commissioner Kaler,
Aye.
Commissioner Morrison,
Aye.
Chairman Wade.
Aye. Having no other business known to me, we will...
Mr. Chairman,
Oh,
I
please.
do have one other item of business.
Oh,
under
yes, you
other.
did want to discuss that, didn't you?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 2 meetings ago, 5140, I believe, Olivet Church Road, I believe is the address where the truck engine oil, tire change facility was proposed. That property owner has been in contact with an attorney here in Paducah, and we've been in contact with our attorneys. What it's looking like at this point is they will ask for a rehearing before this body, and in order for that to happen, there will need to be a unanimous vote by this body at the June hearing, or at the June meeting to rehear that. And then we would open a new public hearing on that. And the reason it has to be unanimous to rehear it is because it's similar to a previous case. So by our bylaws, you all have to be unanimous to rehear it. So as of right now, I do believe that's the direction that it's heading. I just wanted to give you all a heads up on that. And I'd be glad to answer any questions that you have along the way. And I will definitely keep the commission in the loop as I know more. But as of right now, that is as far as I know, but I wanted you all to be aware of what was going to be potentially happening at the June 5th meeting.
As they say, more details to follow.
More details to follow.
All right. Anything else?
That's it, Mr.
All
Chairman.
right. If not, I'll declare this meeting adjourned at 5:53. Thank you all.